Hello and peace greetings and welcome to the Insights with Transformation Leaders program. And with me today, I have Ms Shweta Shalini. Welcome, Madam Shweta.
Dr. Azeeza, that's Shweta.
Shweta, sorry. I keep saying, I don't know why I keep saying. I am so sorry. Shweta Shalini. Let me say it one more time. Welcome, everyone. This is Ms Shweta Shalini, and we are so happy to have her in our session. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Dr. Azeeza. I'm so glad. And since the time that I've realized that I'm the first Indian woman on your channel, I'm extremely excited because I know that you have a little bit of connection to India. In fact, I shouldn't say little bit. You have a lot of connection to India. And there is a small little India that lives in you, in your in everything that you do. And I'm so ready. I think I tweeted about this interview, and one of the things that I said was I'm going out there to learn from her experiences. So I'm sure this is going to be mutual learning because it's mutual admiration.
Absolutely. I'm so happy, Ms. Shweta, because this segment, especially Insights with Transformation Leaders, is a program that is meant to inspire people, especially business leaders, into becoming more of who they are. And we have had many amazing transformation leaders in this session. And you are the first, definitely the first Indian women from India, and not just women, but Indian from India, that is in this show. And we're so thrilled to have you here with us. And dear audience, you know, we showcase trailblazers and people who have been there and done that. They are experienced themselves, that have lived a life of, I would say, as a legendary person. And Ms. Shweta is one such legendary person. When I went through her profile to put together an introduction, I can't do justice by talking about, you know, in this short time. We only have about half an hour. And I was also thinking, is half an hour enough to talk about this amazing trailblazer? Because she's not just an entrepreneur who has done amazing work. She has led organization with thousands of people. She's also a politician, as official spokesperson of the BJP politics scene, and also she is in the space of as a social activist. We're going to speak so many wonderful things today. I'm so excited about that. So shall we just jump in and get into the questions?
Absolutely. Please shoot.
Shoot it will be. So of course, everything that we start, we want to ask you, what is your inspiration? What got you into entrepreneurship, and what got you into the political scene?
So Dr. Azeeza, a lot of people talk about, and especially in today's world, a lot of people talk about passion. I realized this very early in my life, that it's not only passion, but I'm a keen follower of Swami Vivekananda. And he always said that passion without purpose does not make any sense. And that's what I realized very early in my life. I realized that I need to have a purpose of my life. And it's that calling that I need to figure out. Why is it that I'm different? If I'm differentiated, if I'm different, if I'm unique, and God sent me to this earth to fulfill a certain purpose, I need to figure out that purpose. And that larger calling, I did my engineering, I passed out at my MBA. I went and worked for about 8 long years in a multinational company. I was considered a high pot, a high potential employee. But at that point of time, I wanted to become an employer. I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I wanted to create jobs in the country. I wanted to ensure that there are people, who can take home food because of an idea that is generated by me. So that was the calling. But the larger calling kept somewhere triggering my mind to figure out as to where my larger calling is. And one fine day, I realized that I think my purpose of this life is one word called impact. If I have not impacted lives, if I have not impacted countries, if I have not impacted policies, if I have not changed so many people's lives that for generations the difference will be seen, I think I've not lived my life well. And that's when I became an entrepreneur. That's when I became a politician. That's when I realized that I need to take the power into my hand and make the changes that I want to see in this world. And I came into the position of power to say, I will create impact because I am meant to create impact.
Lovely, lovely. You know, when you speak, I just see that vibrancy, that passion shine through, and that's giving me goosebumps. I have to say that. Thank you so much for that insights on how you went through your life. And you have a mother. You're a mother of two beautiful children. You have a twins, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, I have twin boys. They are now
Yes.
14-year-olds, so they are teenagers. So absolutely, they were a handful when they were born, and they're a handful today.
That's interesting because we are talking about you managing your entrepreneurial journey, and we want to talk a little bit on that also in your political scene. And you do a lot of social work as a social activist, and then you have to set time for the family. So, how do you manage all of this together?
So I read once that the busiest people have the most time, right? Because I think there are only two things in this life. One is important, and the second thing is urgent. So I figure out what is important today and what's urgent today, and then make a priority list. I am big time into journaling. I will always have a to-do list. I get up in the morning. I was born to an army man. So my father was an army man. So
Yes.
discipline is something that has been imbibed into my value system from the very beginning. I'm an early riser, so I will always get up in the morning and clear my head. I will always have a to-do list to follow, so I will know what I have done last, what is still yet remain to be fulfilled. So, what are the current tasks in hand? What is the urgent task is in hand? Yet, we saw this Indra Nui piece which said that women can't have it all. And I can challenge that by saying nobody can have it all. Life is a trade off. You always need to trade off something to get something else. You should know in your head, and that clarity should be there as to what you're going to trade off for what and what you will never trade off. So you need to draw those lines for yourself, and that is not a box. I always say it's not, life is not thinking out of the box, because first and foremost, there is absolutely no box. So unbox yourself. And that is the most important thing. The moment you realize that everything is important, the moment it becomes urgent, you've spoiled it. So you address it before it becomes very, very urgent. Prioritize it. Everything can be balanced. And if somebody can balance it, it has to be a woman, because woman is a born multitasker.
Yes.
When you become a mother, you don't cease to be a wife. You are a wife and you become a mother. When you get married, especially in Indian traditions, you accept two families. So you just adopt two families, right? And that's how women are meant to be. They can do so much more. So I'm just blessed to be a woman, and I think I can do it all because, one, I'm a woman. Second, I'm a mother. So I realized that selfless work can happen. The moment I became a mother, I realized that things can be selfless. You can just love blindly. You can be extremely passionate about things. You can stop accepting and expecting miracles to happen. And that's when I realized that service towards God, service towards mankind, service toward people, your own community, your own country, has to be selfless. And that's why I feel that women can really transform. They can be fantastic leaders because they are first women, and second, they are mothers.
Oh my God, that is so perfect. You know, the way that you are expressing it. And if you go to, guys, you need to check out her Instagram. That itself, the post that you put out there just inspires people. It's like, who is this woman is always a question people will ask, because the kind of post you put out there is so inspiring, and the kind of angle you give to everything. Any particular reason that you put out such posts that is so unique?
So my Instagram is very interesting. So let me tell you, Dr. Azeeza, because you're into the field of marketing, communication, strategy, right? I have various social handles. So I have Facebook. I have a Facebook profile. I have a Facebook page. I have a Twitter. I'm very, very active on Quora. I'm trying to get very active on Clubhouse now, thanks to you. And I have an Instagram profile. If you actually look at me in all these different profiles, you will find a different facet of me. And I do this, and of course, with the help of a team, I do this because I want to tell the people that if I can do it without having two horns, and a tail, anybody can do it. I'm just a simple middle class girl, coming from a very simple background. I have no foundation in politics. I had nobody in the family who was an entrepreneur before me. So if I could do it by sheer determination, I think anybody on this earth can do it. The only thing is to follow those tips and tricks. The only thing is to follow your dream and your heart, and to have the guts to believe that if somebody can do it, then it's me. So if you look at my Facebook profile, uh, I write a lot of poetry. Every time, the latest poetry that I've written is in Hindi, and I've written on the fact that how COVID has changed our lives. Right?
You have it
If
with
you,
you right now?
no, I don't think I'll have it with me right now.
Such a
But
pity. Say some
if you
words with us. Nothing,
if you
nothing will be complete without speaking in Hindi. Okay, today.
yes, so I'm going to speak. I'm going to recite my favorite poem to you later. Uh, uh, Post that, if you look at my Instagram, you will see that I need to take out time. I'm a woman. I need to take out time for myself, for my own health. I need to be healthy, and hence I come out with this a strategy tip which is called Shwet Niti. So every time that you read my Instagram post, and there are loads of people who DM me saying that every morning we get up to read Shwet Niti, because I know that motivation is like bathing, Dr. Azeeza. You need to get up in the morning and bathe every single day. And that's what motivation is. You get up in the morning and you need to motivate yourself to get up. Purpose helps. That's how it helps me, because I know that the larger purpose has to be achieved. And hence, few people are self motivated. Some people need a dose of motivation. And I think it is those some people that I have an Instagram for.
Fantastic. Definitely, the motivation, it's like you won't get it. You can never have enough of it. It's like the more you have, the merrier it is. Like the more you get, the more
Absolutely.
powerful you get. That's right. And it's inside out, and you do it extremely well. I have to say that.
And it's contagious, Dr. Azeeza.
Yes.
It's contagious. Like your smile. Every time you smile, I know, even if it's on Clubhouse, I know you're smiling, right? So it's positivity. It has to be contagious.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm just so happy to hear all of this, the way that you are inspiring and being that inspiration as well. You have made history. I have to indicate this, guys. I'm going to say this. Go through her page, website. I will, it's in the link in the comment box. You will realize the kind of work she's doing, and you may need a couple of hours to go through all of it, and maybe a whole day too, because she's got so many parts of her life powerfully defined in the website. And one thing Ms. Shweta did was she made history by introducing technology into politics as a VR technology. And you want to share with us about that part of your work?
So when I entered, Dr. Azeeza, I just told you that when I entered politics, I had nobody in politics. And when I entered in this field, I was not only new, I also realized that everybody else who's into politics has has had some connection into politics. So it's a place where nepotism speaks. It is a place where you need to have a godfather. It is a place where everybody believes that competence does not count at all. It's a place which believes that change is, forget inevitable, change is never going to happen. And that's when, in 2007 and 8, I met my inspiration, Shri Narendra Modi. When I looked at him, I said, oh, I am seeing change personified. This is a common man, and he is now the chief minister, and I'm sure he is all set to be the next prime minister. And this was back in 2008. When I realized this, I also realized that it is important for us to get connected to the larger educated audience. I also realized that if we want to see change in a particular segment, one of the things that we need to do to drive change is to ensure that change happens with every stakeholder. And in a democracy, one of the largest stakeholders are the voters, are the people of the country. And the people of the country are changing at a speed of the jungle fire, because technology is changing. And hence it was time for technology to be introduced in politics. And that's when the mantra of Sri Narendra Modi, which says PPP, which is public private partnership, and he used to always say that there needs to be a last P there, which is the people. And that's when I started connecting. So I call this technology as PPT. So it's the people first, the process second, and technology to the last, right?
Okay.
So this is not PPT of presentation mode, but it is PPT which talks about my theory of how technology can be introduced into politics, because politics is very, very people centric. So it has to be people first. Then it has to be processes. There needs to be a process. You need to involve people. You need to tell them how in the structure, how in a system they can work together to achieve certain goals. And then to connect and bring in transparency, you can bring in technology. And that's what I did. Thankfully, I got mentors, I got inspirations, I got gurus who believed in me, who gave me a chance. Especially the political party that I belong to gave a chance to a so-called newbie and a complete outsider. And that's how uh, I could see the dream of making this change, making the impact that I wanted to create as a woman, as a normal, common citizen.
Yeah, that sounds, very much the importance, because you are in the grassroots level and you really go down to the grassroots level to create the impact. And that is what the world needs. The country needs, to be exact. People who are change makers, who are there in the grassroots level, completely seeing the whole process of what happened, like seeing the people going through the processes of life, and then being the change to support them. And that is very, very inspirational. And I think you are doing some amazing work. And not to forget, talking about technology, you have been in the technology startup scene for a while, and entrepreneurship in your journey. You want to share with us a little bit on that, the kind of startup platforms you have created?
So I was very lucky, Dr. Azeeza. I was always present at the right time, at the right place. When I started my first entrepreneurial venture, and I want to tell this to almost everybody who's listening, because these stories are similar across the globe. Nobody had been an entrepreneur in my entire family. So when I turned around and told my dad that I've quit my job, he turned around and told me that what's the problem? You were very happy with the job. I said, no, I don't. I was getting into a comfort zone and I want to be a job creator. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. So my father turned around and said, I've never heard the word, and God forbid, I can't even spell the word. Entrepreneur, what the hell is that? So when I told him that, I'm going to create jobs and I want to, so he turned around and told me, nobody, forget girls, nobody has done business in our lives. You're going to do business? I said, yes, I'm going to be a job creator. And that's how I started my first entrepreneurial
Wow.
ventures. And because I was working and I quit, I took out my provident fund, which I had, which was my saved money. And from that saved money, and the first three people, I started my first company. We are about 4,500 people worldwide now. We are 6 centers across the globe. And I told you, God was very, very kind. But I think the best part of this entire thing is that those 3 people that I started the company with are still around. They are still with me, and they saw the same dream as I did, and they still believe in me. And I've moved on, created other companies, but they stick around with my every dream and with my every effort. So I think my father taught me this very early in my life, that you don't earn money, you earn people, and you earn respect, and you earn trust. And that's what I did in my entrepreneurial venture also. As far as the product is concerned, we tried every product, and we tried a service company. I ran a user experience design company. We exited that company. It's Ernst and Young now in Pune. So I've seen the entire cycle of starting with an idea, scaling up the idea, exiting a few companies. Now I'm investor into various other companies. I understand that ideas are dime a dozen. It is the execution and the team that executes an idea is what makes the difference. And I think I'm working now at the policy level to ensure that of course, in the state of Maharashtra, where I was advising the Honorable Chief Minister, the former Chief Minister, I also worked on the startup policy of the entire state, and we figured out a couple of areas where we could build hubs of fintech and startups, right? And I've also, for a city like Pune, we have created a complete startup policy for a city. I had written down a policy for the smart city also, and how we could include startups in the idea of the smart city. So I think it's important for me to get, and once an entrepreneur is always an entrepreneur. So that entrepreneurial spirit, I think I've got to the table even now in politics, and I think that has really helped me. It is helping me, and it will forever help me. As far as entrepreneurship is concerned, I keep that little bit of me alive, that little bit of an entrepreneur alive with me. Now with doing hearing pitches and investing into early stage startups, I've also running an incubator program in various universities, where we help students learn about entrepreneurship at a very early stage. And if they have a seed idea, we do pre-seed funding and help them by mentoring and hand-holding them to create future entrepreneurs in the country.
That is, very important, because when I'm hearing talk about passionately on businesses and entrepreneurship, we always say it's the entrepreneurs that make the country, flourish in economical space.
Every country, in fact, I talk about India. India does not need 1 million jobs. It just needs 1 million entrepreneurs and more. And that's what every country needs.
Yes. And, as you speak about that, what more if it's the entrepreneur is the politician? That is the powerful journey. And you are talking about creating policies and all of that, put into the right hands. You are doing an awesome work. Thank you so much for that. And you also get yourself involved in a lot of social projects. We want to touch a little bit on that. As much as I said, I told myself, I said, I'm going to cover everything in half an hour, but I think we are going in good speed with this one. Let's look at that, because the word Karyakarta is a very powerful word. It's like the doer. It's like being that person who can really make that change and impact. And you are doing it at grassroots level. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yes. So I always talk about being a passionate politician, and I'm going to be a forever Karyakarta, which means I need to start from the grassroots. Now, a couple of subjects in these, and especially developmental subjects, are very, very close to my heart. One of the things is village transformation. So I've done a lot of work around village transformation. I'm going to talk about that. Another 2 subjects which are also extremely close to my heart, and I've worked on it, is health and nutrition, and the third is women development. Right now, how I have actually connected the 3 at various stratas of the society is something which is extremely interesting, because I come from an entrepreneurial background, because I've created organizations. I'm an engineer. I can think structurally and in word of systems. I have created structures and systems which are run organizations, not for profit centers, which run on their own, can sustain their businesses on their own. Social enterprises which can sustain themselves yet create impact. So one of the things that I did when we were in power was something called as for village transformation, called Village Social Transformation Foundation, where we mapped the out of the 17 SDG goals, Sustainable Development Goals, we mapped 10 SDG goals, which are extremely important for India. We picked up 1,000 such villages across the state of Maharashtra, because I realized that one powerful word in everyone's dictionary today is collaboration. Yes. But I believe in another word, which is called convergence. When you and me, Dr. Azeeza, come together, it is collaboration. But when I do my job and you do your job, but both of us converge together our efforts to achieve a common goal, which is upliftment of women in the society, that is a lot of power. So I realized that a lot of people are not working on convergence. So I created a convergent model for all stakeholders to come together, yet work independently in parallel to each other to achieve a common goal. So it was important to set that common goal, and that was taken out from the 10 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. And I mapped each of it to the government schemes which are available in India. So whether it's the central federal scheme or the state scheme, I mapped each Sustainable Development Goal to that scheme, and then realized that whatever are the gaps needs to be filled in by the community at large, by the people who want to be transformed, or the larger corporate structure who wanted to pitch in but didn't know how to pitch in. So I got all of these stakeholders together, and what we see today is a completely changed mindset of these 1,000 villages. What we see today are change makers in each of these 1,000 villages, which are 20 to 25-year-old young boys and girls who are working as catalysts. They are working as catalysts and saying that, yes, they believe that change is going to happen. And what we see today is a complete transformed mindset of the entire village itself, which says that change is in our own hands. No third person is going to come out and make the change for us. And this is sustainable change. Wow. Within this, I realized that the first 1,000 days are very critical for a mother and a child. And that's when the mother needs a lot of support. So I've done a lot of projects around health and nutrition. We run a not-for-profit organization, which is called Youth for Development. And, for the benefit of the entire audience and your audience, I think they can check out y4d.ngo. This is the website. Yes. And what we are doing here is we are helping women in child development for the first 1,000 days by supporting the child and the woman with the help of nutrition programs, And last but not the least, for every strata of women, whether it is the startup women, we have a program which is called the Millennium Divas, where we are creating a billion millennial divas who come together, network with each other, and find that sisterhood shout out and support each other by helping each other gain business expertise, mentoring, or by capturing market. And also the grassroots SHGs, which is the self-help groups, which are formed by rural women who come together to create a product which can then be marketed to these urban women who are a part of the Millennium Divas. So yes, we need to think structurally. I have created structures around these impact goals that I personally drive. And I think, policy is top-down approach, but we also need to drive change bottoms up. And that is where the society is going to change at large.
Yes, I feel so strong about the conversations we are having today and everything that you shared. When I read through the materials that on your website, and I've put it out there, it is so important for both to like go together, like bottom up and top down. That's where we will have a meeting point that everything is powerfully spread out. So we are so excited that we are in this conversation. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to and oh, you were supposed to give us a poem. I won't forget that one. And also, what else would you like to share with our friends on in this channel, in this show?
Because I'm talking to you, Dr. Azeeza, I think one of the things that I'm supporting big time, and it's one of the my invested companies. It's on education, and I think education for all is something which is extremely important, because it is the skill, it is the education which is going to empower every single human being to ensure that they can live impactfully on this planet.
Yes.
They can live consciously on this planet, and they can create and fulfill the purpose of their own individual lives. And hence it is important for people like you and startups like these. So this is a startup called Imagine XP, where we want to skill the entire country to ensure that they become miniature entrepreneurs in their own fields. So whether it is in the field of skilling, whether it is the field of future skills which will create future jobs, this is a company that is working on that. So I'm supporting this company, and I personally feel that people like you and universities across the globe need to come together to ensure that every single person in this planet is educated and skilled, and can take care of their own families.
Yes, for sure. That is for true.
And
Ms.
yes, the
Shweta,
poem.
yes, Ms. Shweta, I'm so thrilled that we are having such, half an hour. I've never crashed a half an hour with so much of value and so much of insights in so many different dimensions of who you are and all the information you shared. So let's get with the poem. I'm looking for that.
So this is a poem which is very, very, very close to my heart. It is by my favorite Kavi called Sri Ramdhari Singh Dinkar. It talks about who a real leader is. And because you're talking about transformational leader, so it says, Vasudha ka neta kaun hua? भूखंड विजेता कौन हुआ? अतुलित यश क्रेता कौन हुआ? नवधर्म प्रणेता कौन हुआ? जिसने न कभी आराम किया, विघ्नों में रहकर नाम किया। जब विघ्न सामने आते हैं, सोते से हमें जगाते हैं, मन को मरोड़ते हैं पल पल, तन को झकझोरते हैं पल पल, सतपथ की ओर लगाकर ही जाते हैं हमें जगाकर ही। It means that a leader is somebody who can face challenge through the eye. It can see, he or she can see challenge in the eye and say that I am ready and I'm going to make way through you so that others can follow the same path that I have created.
Fantastic. Everybody take a deep breath in. That's a value for you, friends. Leadership and how transformation leadership works, shining through. And I have no other words but to say you are a powerful leader. And thank you to the world for your leadership, and especially India for your leadership. And it's going to be rocking the world. And I'm so looking forward. We connected on Clubhouse. We have to mention that. It's just that kind of connection that lingers around. And right now we are in front of the audience, and it is going out there very viral, the kind of heart you have for the people of India and what you stand for. Shweta ji, we are with you on that. And definitely it's something that we're looking forward to be in this journey together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Azeeza. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
It means the world to me. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining. And I'm glad to say I'm not just a normal Indian, I'm an OCI, and I have a OCI with me, and which really is about how I really want to see the growth of India, and many of our people in Go Global Business School and our audience know how much we stand for the upliftment of the Indian business community globally. And we are demonstrating to you the powerful Indian leaders already in existence and how collaboration and convergence is going to take place right here, right now. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you in the next session of Insights with Transformation Leaders. This is Azeeza Jalaludeen, founder of Go Global Business School. Have a blessed day, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.